Hi everyone, good morning. I hope you are able to hear me. So in the last session, we started talking about SQL Server and how we can read the data from the SQL Server. We have just started, but in order to do the practice in your system, instead of practicing with the Azure SQL Server, if we can do practice with on-prem SQL Server, that reduces the cost. And also, we are going to use on-prem SQL Server to read the data by using Azure Data Factory. So in that case, also it is going to be helpful. So in order to know about all those things, I wanted to start or I wanted to take you through how we can set up SQL Server in your machine. And SQL Server is going to be possible to set up in your on-prem systems. And how exactly we can set up or I wanted to say one more thing, like how exactly we can set up in Windows operating systems. A SQL Server is going to help you to 1 minute. Not getting. Just give me a minute. I think I have not saved my screen, right? Wait a minute. Okay, I'm sorry. So my A pen tab is not working. That's fine. So I'm going to show you how we can exactly install SQL Server in your missions that I'm going to take you through. So let's see. So in order to install it, I required SQL Server, and which is specifically designed for Windows operating systems only. So that means you can install SQL Server for Windows operating systems. In order to do this, just search for SQL Server 2022 download. Hit on the first link. This link is going to help you to understand. Good. Something is happening. Okay, that is fine. Now I can find here SQL Server 2022. SQL Server 2022, you can see. You have to hit on it in order to download it. Just hit on this particular place. It is going to help you to download a SQL Server. Let me hit on it. Download on-prem SQL Server. You have to make sure to download on-prem SQL Server. Hit on it. And provide the details, whatever the details we required. Okay, so you can say, I'm not going to download. You can provide your mail ID. And company name. Company size, you can provide anything. Or data engineer. And you can provide the country code and phone number. And let me hit on download now. So there is one more field is missing. What is that? Okay, so country is India. Let me hit on download. When you hit on download, it is going to show you. It is going to show you what version you wanted to download it. Here you can find download 64-bit edition. Then it is going to give this exe file. You have to double click on this exe file. When you hit on double click on it, everyone should install in your mission so that you can do practice with this. And here you have to choose download media. You have to choose download media and hit on download. So when you hit on download, it is going to download this set of file into this particular direction. You're going to have here. Okay, so in my case, I'm already done all this stuff. I mean, I extracted the exe file. Once you extracted, then you're going to have the file in the C drive mostly, basically. So in my case, I have a already SQL Server 2022, and inside that we are having a exe file. So this exe file we have to use to install in your Windows operating systems. To install in your Windows operating systems, we need to use the setup file. Just double click on it, hit on S. Hit on installation. So once you hit on installation, there is a new SQL Server standalone installation. So this is for only your system. For your system, it is going to work. It is not going to work for others. Let me hit on new SQL Server standalone installation. Thing is missing. So once you have this one, you can see here, I have specify free edition. You have to take a free version for practicing. So this is going to be there for 6 months. Later 6 months, it is going to be expired. Then you have to uninstall and install it again. So let's take the same default option and hit on next. Accept the license terms. You have to accept the license terms. Hit on next. Again, hit next. Hit on next. And here I don't need this one. You can just uncheck this option. Azure extension for SQL Server, uncheck it. Let's go to next and hit on database engine and hit on next again. So just leave it as it is, the default one. And if your SQL Server was installed already, if you want to install on top of it, then you can also go for named instance. But if you're not able to take the default instance, then let me know. I will help you how we can set up it. So if you're aware of it, how you can set up the named instance, that's fine, you can do it. But if you're not in a position to take the name instance, to avoid the issues, just reach out me, I will help you on it. Hit on next. Let's go to next again. So here we have to choose what kind of extension or what kind of authentication mode we are using for this. I have a authentication mode. Windows authentication, mixed mode authentication. So when you install SQL Server in the cloud, there was a SQL authentication and Microsoft Entra authentication, if you remember. And both also were there. In the same way here also, while setuping, you are going to have this too. I recommended to go with the mixed version. Okay, so in your system also, this will be helpful while you are practicing with Azure Data Factory, especially if your system is having a password with PIN number, then your mixed mode is going to help you to read data from on-prem SQL Server. So for that reason, I'm taking a mixed mode. Let's take a add current user and provide the password here. The account name for this is SCA. So two people will be there for administrators. Two are there here, two administrators. So one is with Windows authentication. With Windows authentication, and other is SQL authentication. Either one of them you can use to practice at the time of data factory. Either you can use Windows authentication or SQL authentication. How we can use them, we'll see that. And then once you have added your current user here, this is a Windows authentication, and here your SQL Server authentication is SA account. The name of the account is SA, and you have to provide the password for SA account, and you have to confirm the password for your SA account. Now let me provide the password for this. Let's go to next. And I'm just going to say install. It's very simple to install SQL Server in your machines. So wait for some time, it will be installed. So once this is installed, then we need to restore our sample databases. And we already know how we can install SQL Server Management Studio. We have seen SQL Server Management Studio installation. We already seen at the time of prerequisites. And we need to restore sample databases. So I'm going to take the sample databases is like one is AdventureWorks, DW 2022, AdventureWorks DW, sorry, not DW 2022. Sorry, something happened. That's fine. So installation is going on. AdventureWorks DW 2022 and AdventureWorks 2022. I'm going to take and Qantas or Retail DW. The fourth, very, very important, the fourth one, in order to do practice with the SQL Server, I have a practice database. So that practice database we are going to use for interview question practice. And apart from that, there is a fifth one. I'm going to have our own database. The source database are as we're having a sales DB. Let me say the same thing for regular classes, regular SQL classes. Okay, so these databases I'm going to restore in our SQL Server. You have to keep them. Takes couple more minutes. So installation should come as a successful. If you get a successful message, then only your SQL server installs successfully. If at all, if you're having a failed message, then there is a something issue is going on. So make sure to have a install successful. Let me hit on close and close your SQL Server installation window. And as we have installed, I wanted to open our with SQL Server Management Studio. Let's open it. This folder is not required. It is getting opened. So it is asking what is the name of the server. So you have to provide the server name. Your server name is a system name. Your server name is a system name. And if you're not aware of what is your system name, you can just hit on it here for practicing your local machine. You can browse easily. If the server is there in the network, it's not the best practice. You have to get the server name from someone from the team and you have to enter the server name at the time of working. For while practicing, if you are not aware of it, you can just hit on browse for your server name, expand the database engine, and you can find there is a server name. Just select it and hit OK. Now server name is selected. Authentication modes we have to choose. Windows authentication, since my system is configured with Windows authentication, I'm just going to take the same thing. So if it is a Windows authentication, we don't need to provide the password. If it is a SQL authentication, you have to provide username and password. So while installing SQL Server in our mission, we have taken SA as an administrator. But in real time, we are not going to use SA as a developer. We are going to have our username. If your name is Bhaskar, then they're going to create an account with your name. And that account details, they're going to give it to you. And you can come and you can, when you try to log in with that account and password, it is going to ask you to change the password. And you have to change the password accordingly. That you can feel that that's not a big deal. The way you're going to change a Gmail password while once it is expired, it is going to get a pop-up. In the same way here also it is going to have it. Or the way it is going to be a set up password for net banking, in the same way you can also have it here. So since my system is supporting Windows authentication, I'm taking Windows authentication here. Let me hit on connect. Now it is connected. You can see here, I don't have any databases here. No databases are available. No databases are available. So we need to restore the databases. All the sample databases I'll keep in the drive and you can download from there. And I'm just going to take my databases from here. How exactly you have to do is, I have a databases folder. I'll keep this by zipping. All the folders all the files you're going to get. One is AdventureWorks DW 2022 and Bhaskar Bookstore, Bhaskar Kantosa Retail DW. This is important for our project. Our data factory project is going to be happened with this one. And Kantosa Retail DW practice database for SQL Server interview questions. We are going to practice with this one. And source DB is equivalent to your sales underscore DB. Both are similar. So I'm just going to take all these backup files. Let me take the folder of this. The total size of this is, so 1.6 GB is there. That's fine. Let's take a copy of this. And you have to go to the C drive. Let's go to C drive. Program files. Here you have to go for Microsoft SQL Server. In Microsoft SQL Server, in this particular place, you just paste that databases folder. I'm just going to paste it here. And once I paste it, you can see inside this, I have a backup databases. That is fine. Let's come to here. One by one, you have to restore in your system. If your SQL Server is 2022, the latest version, then only you can restore my databases. Let's right click on databases, restore database. Hit on device, browse it for your backup file, hit on add. So if you come little down, you can see there is a databases. Just select it and take one by one. Adventure Works DW 2022, hit OK, hit OK, and again hit OK. And the same way we have to do for other databases also. Restore databases, device, browse it, add. And next one is Bhaskar Bookstore. Let's hit OK. Again hit OK. Now you can see Bhaskar Bookstore here. Not new database. I wrongly clicked. Right click on it. Restore again other database. And other database is Contoso, Bhaskar Contoso. I used to take this database for project. I'm going to take, I'm having a project data here. So the way the project that we are going to discuss as part of our data factory, the data, some of the data is going to be there and some data is there in MySQL and some data is there in a file system also. So three varieties of the systems I'm going to take it. Restore database again. Let's take a databases. Contours of retail DW, hit OK. Again, and hit OK. I'm just keeping them all of this databases so that I can use for any kind of purpose. And practice database, I told you, from today onwards, I'm going to give every day 1 or 2 interview questions on SQL. So practicing writing a code of SQL is important. I will also give the answer on top of them, but make sure to have this practice database to practice your interview questions. Hit OK, hit OK, hit OK again. And last database, that is source database. Hit OK and hit OK. You can see the tables. And here also I'm having a tables. So everyone should have all the sample databases in your system. I may take any of the table, any of the database for a data factory or for SQL. For both of them, we are going to use them. Okay. Any question as of now? Okay. So let me open my SQL code. Till what place we discussed in the last session is So salesman and department number that we have come across it. Okay, perfect. Okay, so in the last session, we talked about logical operators. So everyone is aware of logical OR and logical AND. So logical OR will be used if the business requirement demands to satisfy either one of the condition. In that case, we are going to use logical OR operator. And logical AND operator will be used if the business requirement demands to satisfy all the conditions. So those things we came across in the last session, how we can write a where clause. The where clause is designed to restrict the data. We discussed about it. Now, I wanted to write a SQL code for this. Write a SQL statement to get employee details. If the employees are getting less than 2000 in the department number 30. I guess we already done this one also. Let me write it as I have removed. Select star from. Now the database here is source. Employee. Where the first condition is salary. Salary is less than 2000. Salary is less than 2000 and department number. Department number equals to 30. So if this condition is satisfied and if this condition is satisfied, that record only is going to come into the output. Otherwise, the record will not flow into the output. The concept we discussed more in detail, and this is very, very important even for data factory and Databricks. From next week onwards, even we are going to start preparing interview sessions also. Interview series also we are going to start for practicing for interview attempt. Let me hit on execute. Now you can see the data here. As we discussed, we are having less than 2000 and all the department, all the employees are related to only department number 30. Write a SQL statement to get employee details if the employees are getting from 2000 to 3000 salary. I wanted to get it. Simple. Select star from employee where the two conditions are based on the salary only. Two conditions is based on the salary. The salary starting point and the salary ending point. The salary starting point is from 2000 and salary ending point is 3000. You're trying to get the data within the range. Within the range, I wanted to get the data. So if you want to get the data within the range, you have to use greater than or equal to and less than or equal to. So if the business requirement demands to get the range of the data, keep in mind, we are going to use greater than or equal to and less than or equal to most of the times. In many services or many tools or many languages, the same concept will be there. So greater than or equal to and less than or equal to, that means here I'm just going to say salary greater than or equal to. And here salary less than or equal to. So in this place, we are going to use logical AND operator. That's all. In between that, we are going to use logical AND operator. So let me write the same condition here. Salary greater than or equal to 2000 and salary less than or equal to 3000. Now, if I execute this, it is going to get the data within the range. You can see, if you take any record, every record is falling under this range only. We don't get other than this range. So that is how it is going to have it. And The same thing, we can also write it in a different way. There is an operator called between operator. Especially in SQLs, in RDBMS tools, we are going to have this RDBMS tools like SQL Server, Oracle, MySQL. In all these places, this between is going to work. It's a operator. We don't need to use greater than or equal to and less than or equal to. But between supports in RDBMS tools. If I go with Azure Data Factory, you may not have it. Or if I go with the Databricks, you may not have it. The different approach we may go and do it. That is what it is. The general approach is greater than or equal to and less than or equal to. So I'm just saying or. Another option, I'm just trying to write it here. Select star from employee where salary between 2000 and 3000. So I'm writing in a different way. Select star from table name. This is common. The only thing is the condition is getting changed. If you see the condition here and if you see the condition here, basically both are seen. The way you are going to write is differs. This works in every place, but this works in only in few places. That is the only difference. But I always recommend to write in this approach only. So between also is going to give the same result. It is equivalent to, greater than or equal to, and less than or equal to. So salary between 2000 and 3000. So whenever your business requirement demands to get the range of the data, then you can use between also. So between is equivalent to, greater than or equal to, and less than or equal to. We can just execute these two statements and you can see the both query results are very much similar. You can see. Here I have a 5 records with operators, and here also I have a 5 records with between operator. So same values 2975, 2850, 2850, 3000, 3000, and 2000 and 2000. So all values are exactly same. Okay, so in the interview, which answer is the right best answer is this one. You can also give this one and you can say about this also, make sure. And not only for the numbers, we're also going to have a ranges for dates also. For dates also, we are going to have a ranges. In that case, how you're going to handle it? Write a SQL statement to bring the data from employees. If the employees are joined, if the employees joined in the 2023 0420 sorry 0402 and 2023. Give me a minute. Let me charge my laptop. Yeah, I'm back. So here we have to write a code. Select star from employee where. So there is a date column. If you execute it, you can find the date columns here. You can see. So in this place, I'm asking the persons who joined in the year of this particular date, April 02, 2023, April 02, I wanted to get it. Then just take here higher date equals to dates also will be enclosed in a single quote. Date will be enclosed in a single quote in the SQL. Even in the data factor also you are going to have the same thing, the similar kind of approach. Let's execute it and you can see I'm not having the values here. Let me take some other date. Now let's execute it and you can see there is a one record. And write a SQL statement to get employees from employee table if the employees are joined in the year of 2023. That means I wanted to see the persons who joined in the year of 2023. That for entire year I wanted to get the employees. So starting year is there, ending year is there. Starting is 01, 01, 2023. And ending is 12, 31, 2023. So this is going to give the data for entire 2023, right? For entire 2023, it is going to give. Now, how can you write a SQL code? So in this particular case, the business requirement is demanding to satisfy this condition as well as this condition. So if the business requirement demands to satisfy both the conditions, then we are going to use logical AND operator. In between here, we are going to use logical AND operator. So let's write the code in the similar way. Select star from employee where salary greater than or equal to 01 hyphen 01 hyphen 2023. And again, you have to give same higher date less than or equal to 12 31 2023. Now, if I execute these statements, you are going to have a 1 year data. Syntax issue.
Salary, sir, hide it.
Oh my God. Let's execute it. And now you can see. Okay, so write a SQL statement to get the employee details who are joined in the month of September 2023. So for month means you have to take something like this. The way you have taken for year, in the same way you are going to take it. So September means 09. 30 it is, and first is 09. I'm taking DDYY format. And here also is going to be 09 as it is a September. This is 01. And this is 30. Let's execute it. It's going to get the data for September. Entire September, we are having only one record here. And you can just cross verify, is there only one record for September? So here is 12, 02, 02. Here is the 09. And 09, but here you can see, here is different. We are taking 2023, right? Only for 2023, 09 is getting. So this record only is there, and this is also is there 09, but it is 2021. And if I need only September, irrespective of the year, then you have to write in a different way. Okay, so irrespective of the year also can get it, but this is not the approach to do it. We have a different approach. So for September 2023, if you want to get the data, then definitely you have to specify year also. Write a SQL statement to bring employee data if the employees are not joined in the month of September 2023. So the negative of this statement, I'm going to take this copy and paste it here. So negative of the statements means I have this condition. This is a condition. When I have a condition, if you want to make this condition as negative, then in front of this, I'm going to say not condition. If I say automatically behaves negative, that means this not is going to say if the condition returns true, this not will say it is false. If the condition returns false, this not will say it is true. So negative operation is going to do it. So excluding 2023 September, if I wanted to exclude that, there is a one record is coming for this particular condition. If I say exclude, then bring them into bracket and say not. That's all. Not this condition. I wanted to say this, not this condition, not bracket open and bracket close. When you have a logical AND operator or when you have a multiple conditions, I always recommend you to keep the not within the bracket. I mean, just bring the condition in the bracket, then keep the not operator. Let's execute it now. You can say excluding that record is going to get it. You cannot find 09 2023. So this are all, you can say here 20, here 23, but April it is. And here it is 23 December, 23 December, 23 January, and 24 is there. We don't have a 09 23. September 23 is not available because we excluded that particular record. And this is also important for us. Write a SQL statement to bring the employee details from the employee table if the employee is not eligible for commission. Observe. Select star from employee. If I execute up to here, then you can see the data for all of them, but the person who is not eligible for commission, the employee who is not eligible for commission, how do you know that person is not eligible is if the commission is null, then those customers are not eligible for commission. So I wanted to separate them. Here my question is employees who are not eligible. I wanted to see the persons who are not eligible for commission. So where commission, you may think that equals to null. This is not going to be possible to get the data. It is just going to say 0 records. So the reason is this null is equivalent to infinite. You cannot compare the value with infinity, right? In the same way, you cannot compare right side value with left side value, because we are having a comparison operators here. So how we are going to handle this? We are going to use is null operator. Is null. So you have to use is. Then if the commission is null, then it is going to give it. So that means these all employees are not eligible for commission. So I wanted to see the people who are eligible for commission. Who are eligible for commission. It's very simple change that we are going to do it. Who are eligible for commission. In place of here is not null. I told you we are going to make negative. You can give is not null. Let's execute it and you can see the persons who are eligible for commission. 7499 is getting some commission. All these employees are getting some commission here. So this is about how we can restrict the data. And tomorrow we are going to talk very, very important sessions from tomorrow for few sessions because of functions. The functions are very, very important in ADF and ADB also. If you want to work as a Azure data engineer, you need to adopt your Azure Data Factory and Azure Databricks. So where we are going to use all these functions, more or less same kind of functions we are going to have it. So just try to understand, because when I explain a functions in the SQL, it is easy to explain by running multiple times. But if I try to do the same thing in the data factory, it's very difficult to set up it. So I'm also going to show as when required, I'm going to show it here also, but I feel SQL Server is the best place to know about the functions. So we can execute the code in pieces also. So that feasibility, we are going to have it here. Okay, so I'm stopping here. And if you have any question, you can ask me, and please make sure to set up your SQL Server and your sample databases. So this will decide your data engineering. Okay, so do not think that SQL is different. SQL functions are not required. You may think it's not 100% we require these functions. So in data factory, I'm just going to take a use case. When the moment I start explain the use case, we should be in a position to understand how we can write the expression with functions. So start doing practice from here itself. So when or by reaching to the data factory, you can easily understand. Clear? Okay, then I'm stopping here. We'll see you on tomorrow. Thank you for joining.